Today marks World Alzheimer's Day to help bring awareness of the more than 6 million people who live with it today and the 13 million who will develop it by 2050. Well, let's welcome back our good friend Marnie Schneider, philanthropist and children's book author of the series Football, Freddie, and Fumble the Dog. It's good to have you back with us. We love having you come on talking all about football and fun things, but you have been living with a parent that suffers from dementia now for how many years?
4 years.
For 4 years.
Although probably longer, but officially diagnosed 4 years.
Yeah, and what has that been like for you?
Well, I think that it's probably similar, the same experience for most people that have a family member that has dementia. It is, you're watching somebody just slip away. And for most people, it's our natural instinct to try to figure out how to save them, help them, and you really can't. And it is incredibly frustrating and very sad. It's sad for the family. It's sad for the person that's suffering or living with dementia. And it's a really tragic thing, Layla. I mean, my mother and I are very, very close. So watching her just shrink is very, very, very upsetting.
And I think it's palpable because when you go onto your Facebook page or Instagram, I mean, so many of the pictures are of you and your mom together. You have such love for her. It just jumps off of that page and you can feel it in your heart. And I know that she has had such an indelible impression on you and the path that you've taken in your life, and she's done so much in her life as well. So, what we like to do is bring awareness to people also changing their lifestyle and just understanding just exactly what some of the signs could look like and if there's any kind of treatment. So in your journey through this process for you and for your mom, I mean, were there any other signs that
it was
indicated?
Yes, it's so interesting because my mom started kind of getting a little bit more agitated, and that was the first thing. So she was a very successful entrepreneur and very successful business person, but the agitation was different than being impatient or wanting to continue to be a professional. So there was just some agitation, and we noticed that at first and kind of brushed it off as maybe that's her getting a little bit older, things like that. She's got a lot of pressure on her, and then that turned into a little bit of getting lost, going to certain places, getting lost, places that she had driven many, many times, and then of course being frustrated because you're lost and then you're a little bit agitated. And then the sense of timing. Timing was also another thing that she would over prepare for things or overpack for things or leave too early or leave too late. So just little things that it's very easy to brush those off as just normal elderly things, but they definitely are a reason to go get checked and to at least get a baseline, for sure.
And as a caretaker, so let's also focus on you because you have been her caretaker. You do have help, but even it's still a struggle to this day to try to find good people to help, people that you trust.
I think that everybody kind of struggles with that. Yes, definitely. My standard of what I want for my mom is probably incredibly high. I think that that's something that I've had to kind of educate myself on, and certainly I've found some wonderful people that have a lot of empathy, that really understand what it's like to take care of somebody with dementia, but it's definitely difficult.
Has it changed your lifestyle?
Yeah, of course.
Sure, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
And maybe talk a little bit about that because we were talking earlier just about sort of the culture in this country, and we tend to get impatient with our elders when we really shouldn't. When we look to other cultures around the world, it's a privilege to take care of your family, but it's a privilege particularly when you have support. We lack a lot of support in this country, don't we?
Well, I just think we do, and I don't think in general people are great with geriatrics in this country. And so part of it is that maybe it's a learning curve. We're still a young country and we haven't had, people are living longer than they ever used to. So there might be some of that where we're learning how to manage elderly. With other countries, they've been around for a lot longer, so maybe that's part of it. But yes, I definitely think that living around somebody who was such a vibrant, bright, shiny spot and now is much, obviously completely incapable of doing anything on her own, it does change the dynamic, and it definitely becomes depressing to you as the caregiver because you want to try to fix things and solve things and you can't do it, and that's really rough.
Go back to the way things were.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would give anything to have
Yeah, I know. I totally understand. I hear you, and I hear the angst. You know, you can definitely sense it. But your advice for people who are also going through this, because you are not alone. I mean, truth be told, you are not alone. There's so many people in your shoes. But you say also self-care. Think about yourself first sometimes.
Well, it's really hard to do, but you have to do it, because taking care of somebody is a full-time commitment and a full-time job, and they wouldn't want you to neglect yourself either. That's the other thing, is that most people want you to be happy and thriving. They don't want you to be just completely taking care of them. No one wants to feel like a burden. So I think that, you know, taking a moment and just doing something, whether it's going and sitting at a cafe and getting a coffee, meeting up with friends, going for a walk, doing something physical, journaling, reading a book, something, whatever it is. Nothing grandiose necessarily, but take some baby steps just to remember that you're a human being and you're allowed to have emotions and things like that, and your loved one would want you to.
Absolutely. And if you see someone going through this and working so hard on behalf of somebody else, and you can buy them maybe a massage gift certificate, do it, because massages are also great.
It is. I mean, and just doing anything, and also remembering that to take care of yourself proactively, so that you don't become a burden for your family. I don't like to use the word burden, but it is. It's a financial burden, certainly, but there is
emotionally too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well, and I also want to point out that your mother wrote this lovely book.
She did.
So for people who would like a copy of this, Briefcase Essentials, I love the title of it. Where should they go to get it?
They can go to Amazon and get Briefcase Essentials. They can go to Game Day in the USA also, and it's available there. So yeah, I'm very proud of my mom. This kind of it's a little bit of an older book, you know, from a couple years ago, because people aren't really carrying briefcases anymore. But why not? I love a good briefcase.
Yeah, I love a good briefcase.
Exactly.
Always great to have you with us.
Thank you, Layla.
Love you, Marnie.
Thank you.
We're back after this.